Welcome back and welcome aboard. 92 years ago today, Amelia Earhart became the first woman to cross the Atlantic by plane. Together, we will travel back in time and learn just how this trip became possible. Welcome aboard! This historical flight took off from a small harbor in Newfoundland and landed in Carmarthen, Wales. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's learn a little bit about Amelia Earhart. Amelia was born in Kansas and spent her early years playing make-believe with her sister Pidge and imagining the adventures she hoped to go on. After returning to live with her parents following the Spanish flu epidemic, Earhart was taken on a 10-minute airplane ride by a family friend. Ever adventurous and brave, she immediately requested that her father buy her a plane and support her dreams of learning to fly. After becoming the first woman to cross the Atlantic by plane with the support of co-pilots Wilmer Stoltz and Louis Gordon, she became more determined than ever. In 1932, she became the first woman to fly that same path. This time, she was solo. This flight lasted 14 hours and 56 minutes, during which she contended with and overcame strong winds, icy conditions, and several mechanical problems. Earhart spent much of the rest of her career inspiring young women to be adventurous and pursue their dreams. She built space for women in engineering and mentored many at Purdue University as a career counselor and advisor. After joining Purdue as a counselor and advisor, Earhart was given her own laboratory space and she began planning her round-the-world flight. Although others had flown around the world, her flight would be the longest, at 29,000 miles, because it was a roughly equatorial route. Although she was unable to achieve her final goal of circumnavigating the globe, Amelia Earhart charted new possibilities for women to follow. One notable woman inspired by Amelia is Sally Ride, the first American woman to go to space 55 years after Amelia's first flight across the Atlantic. Following Earhart's footsteps, Sally Ride entered space on the same date as Earhart's first ride, June 18th.
As Ella just mentioned, planes have a pretty spectacular history. Now the question is, how do planes fly? A plane can weigh up to 500 tons, so how can this giant piece of metal fly and stay up in the sky? It needs 4 forces to work together. The first force is weight. Weight is caused by gravity and forces the plane downward. The second force is lift. Lift keeps the plane up. The plane's wings are shaped so that they're curved at the top and flatter on the bottom. This creates a pressure difference that causes the plane to lift. The third force is thrust. A smaller or older plane will use a propeller to create thrust, which pushes the airplane forward. A jet or commercial aircraft will use its jet engine to produce thrust. The final force is drag. Drag slows down the plane. The plane must have a stronger lift than drag to keep the plane in the air. The shape of the wings also helps to decrease drag. When all 4 forces are working together, this causes the plane to fly. Lastly, all the plane needs is a pilot to steer the plane to its final destination. So now you know how planes fly. We hope you enjoy the ride.